Rob, I want to hear this.
That was 2 weeks ago, yeah. What color? I wish we could do. Yeah. Where's bow tie? I think
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we start our meeting tonight, we have a few presentations. The first is the oath of office for our new council member, Mr. Tyler Maravich. So if our law director and Mr. Maravich would go down to the podium and be sworn in.
I do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and the Charter of the City of Ravenna, and that I will discharge the duties of my office as Ward 2 councilperson of the City of Ravenna, with fidelity, according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
You might want to stay there for pictures. I see we have our reporter here.
May want to stand. I'll take one good person shaking your hand.
All right. So next we have a couple of presentations from the police department. Thanks, Frank.
Halfway, you'll be good. Yeah, and put the podium right in front of you, right there.
All right, I'm sorry.
The
Captain
audience is
Smallfield, Ravenna Police Department. I'm here today just to honor a couple of Ravenna residents who obviously or undoubtedly saved lives when we had a big fire recently. And I'd also like to acknowledge Joan Dehoff, who's here, who brought to our attention and really put these two individuals forward for their life-saving award. So, first I'd like to do Brittany's. Am I pronouncing that right? Brittany? Okay. Come on up, Brittany. This is from the Office of the Chief of Police. This is to certify that Brittany Larson has been awarded the Ravenna Police Department Life Saving Award. On March 17th, 2024 at 6:53 p.m., Brittany Larson displayed unparalleled bravery in imminent danger. Brittany was inside her apartment at 629 Hazen when smoke filled her apartment. Brittany took action and began notifying and evacuating residents, mainly assisting a disabled individual with one leg on the bottom floor of the apartment complex. Her courageous effort exemplified the highest standards of humanity. Without hesitation, Brittany risked her safety to ensure the evacuation of the apartment complex's residents. Through her unwavering bravery and quick thinking, Brittany's timely intervention undoubtedly saved countless lives, bringing her credit and embodying the true spirit of heroism. The City of Ravenna is fortunate to have citizens like Brittany who make Ravenna a safer place to live, work, and visit. This is a declaration. And these are our Chief's pins, and you are the two first recipients to receive the Chief's pin. These are very pretty. But we thank you very much for your... Again, from the Office of the Chief of Police, this is the certified Christopher Taylor, has been awarded the Ravenna Police Department Life Saving Award. On March 17, 2024, at 6:53 p.m., Christopher Taylor displayed unparalleled bravery in the face of imminent danger. Christopher was inside his apartment at 629 Hazen when smoke filled his apartment. Christopher immediately dialed 911, alerting authorities to a dangerous situation. Without hesitation, Christopher warned his fellow residents of the impending danger, risking his safety to ensure their evacuation. Despite the smoke-filled apartment, Christopher remained resolute in his determination to ensure the safety of others. Through his unwavering bravery and quick thinking, Christopher's timely intervention prevented what could have been a catastrophic loss of life. His relentless efforts and selfish actions exemplify the highest standard of heroism and inspire all. The city of Ravenna is fortunate to have citizens like Christopher who make Ravenna a safer place to live, work, and visit. So thank you very much.
Can we get Officer DeHoff in the picture too? The officer that brought it to your, DeHoff? He needs to be in the picture. Sorry. Picture.
Thank you, Captain Smallfield. Amy, would you like to give
Yep.
the next?
Keep the good wave going.
Absolutely.
Is Nathan Fink here?
Fink or Eric?
Turn around this way. This is Nathan Fink, and tonight I wanted to recognize him for something special. It's not often that the good things that our youth randomly do on their own in our community is recognized, and a lot of times I do receive messages via Facebook, and Shauna McCauley is here tonight, and Shauna sent me a message, and she said, "Hey, Amy, there's this young man, I believe he's a high school student, and every day on his way home from work, or from school, he has a blue bag, and he's picking up trash on his way home." And I chair public health and safety, and last month was Earth Day, so we're a little behind, but I felt it was important to acknowledge the efforts of this youth and that lives in our community and goes to Ravenna High School. Nathan, I just want to say thank you so much. You help make Ravenna a better place by living here and by contributing, and we really appreciate it. And on behalf of City Council and the Mayor's Office, we want to give you this certificate in grateful recognition of your valuable contribution and commitment in keeping the community clean. And here's a gift card for McDonald's.
There you
So when
go.
you're done, you can go get something to eat, drink, and enjoy yourself, okay? Thank you.
I think this needs to be choreographed, like.
Pledge of Allegiance. I just thought we had done that yet.
Well, you are all welcome to stay. We're going to start the May 6th Ravenna City Council meeting Or you may leave and go out, take pictures and other stuff. Okay, well, we'll wait for the crowd to clear out.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.
I like having visitors. You know?
Okay, I'm calling the Ravenna City Council meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is a moment of meditation and silence. You'd all join me with the reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chelsea, would you call the roll?
Mr. Kelly?
Here.
Ms. West? Here. Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Here.
Ms. Michael?
Here.
Mr. Maravich? Here. Mr. Harper?
Here.
Okay, next item in your packets were the minutes from our meetings on April 1st, April 25th, and April 29th. Does anybody have any modifications, changes, or suggestions for the minutes? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The minutes are approved. We also have some communications, Chelsea. In our packet, we have, it looks like an application, or is it a renewal of a liquor license? And then a letter from the Ohio Secretary of State verifying our elected officials. Is that it? Okay. Okay, at this point, I'll call up some delegations from the public. Is Mrs. Chambers here? If you could state your name and address, and we're going to give you 5 minutes.
Okay.
If it takes a little longer, we'll ask council if they'll engage you for a little bit longer.
I'll talk fast.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, and thank you for seeing me today. I'm Carolyn Chambers. I just wanted to bring to the city council attention the parking problem that is arising and becoming more of a problem on my street, Park Avenue. I understand that most of you have seen the picture that I emailed to Chelsea Greger of this parking problem. If you have not, I've brought extras, and I think I've put extras on so you can see it. I really do not want to cause any problems or hard feelings with my neighbors, but on multiple occasions, my neighbors have parked their cars on Park Avenue in such a way that any other traffic is blocked from being able to travel through. If there were any kind of emergency, an ambulance, fire truck, or police vehicle would not be able to get through to get to the emergency. And as a senior citizen, that's very concerning to me. There's also a younger couple with a lot of health issues that an ambulance has had to come and help multiple times. Also, sometimes the neighbors park their cars in front of my house where the fire hydrant is located. Again, the fire department would not be able to get to the fire hydrant with cars parked in front of it. The current problem seems to be the 2 neighbors who unfortunately live across the street from each other. On multiple occasions, my family, my friends, and I have had to drive around the block on Park Avenue. I drive around the block to Mechanic and come up Park Avenue to get into my driveway. And they will be able to get around and into my driveway. My understanding is that the Ravenna police officer did come and speak to the one young man who at the time had his car parked in the street instead of in his own driveway. I understand that if there's room in the driveways, they should be parking in the driveways. When I have my family over on Sundays, we have 4 or 5 cars in my driveway. We don't park in the street, we park in my driveway. And that conversation did not go very well, and the young man was very argumentative with the officer. A couple of my neighbors do have limestone gravel in front of their property for parking, but they are not permitted to park on it, so they park in the street, which is permitted. I feel that if there could be a law or some street signs put up to allow for parking only on one side of Park Avenue, that might help to resolve this parking problem. Otherwise, I would like to hear City Council's advice on what else you feel could resolve this parking issue. I appreciate your time and thank you all for listening to my concerns.
Thank you, Mrs. Chambers. Next on the agenda, Randy Parsons. Is Randy Parsons here? Hi.
How are you?
Good, thanks.
I think that's, I've been to a lot of city council meetings. I'm an architect. I can tell you firsthand, I've never experienced what went on beforehand. I think that was awesome. That was really great that you guys give out awards like that and recognize people in the community. That was really special. What I'm here to talk about today is a piece of land, which is 11.54 acres, that the city of Ravenna owns that bisects my parents' property. We were up here in the fall and we briefly talked about it also. I met with Mr. Finney and I met with Mayor Seaman and we talked about options and what could be done with that land or how we might acquire that land. And the resolution was that Mr. Finney wanted us to determine a price of what that value and what we're willing to offer for that land. So I spoke to a couple realtors, I spoke to a civil engineer, I spoke to surveyors. They're very familiar with the city of Ravenna, very familiar with property in Portage County. And ultimately it came back that that land is worth negative money because it would cost so much to actually bring that land up to standard. That land was determined, it's an asset of the city of Ravenna, yet the city of Ravenna has neglected that piece of land for decades. It's now turned into a swamp on my parents' property. On that email that I sent to Mr. Finney and Mayor Seaman, I included drone imagery of how bad that land is. So I would like the city of Ravenna to consider selling us the land. But there's two options, either to sell the land or ask you to please fix the land that has been neglected for quite a few decades. Any questions?
I know it's been a while since you first came to council, and I do think that we need to do something. I'm not sure what it is. So perhaps we could put this on the planning committee meeting for next week. And I'm sorry it's taking this long.
That's okay.
But-
I mean, I want to come to some sort of resolution with you.
Right. Well, I think the city does too. I think the problem is we need to decide what value this land has to the city, whether it's an intrinsic value or financial value, and then come to some resolution about how to close this deal.
I know, Mr. Finney, you mentioned possibly coming out and taking a look at and walking the land with us. You have my phone number. Please give me a call. We'd be happy to take you and show you the land that is the city of Ravenna's, that bisect, that, cuts right through our farm. But ideally, we'd like to try and clean that land up one way or another.
Mr. Parsons,
Yes.
Was an easement ever mentioned to you as far as an offer on that?
It was, but like I mentioned before, an easement, I don't think satisfies what we're looking for. And I think if there's an easement granted, then there's still a liability to the city of Ravenna.
You do
like I-
understand, though, that leads to our waterway, which is considered most people priceless for residents.
You're telling me that you guys still get water through that pipeline?
It could happen, is what we are told. That is one of the questions we need to figure out.
Okay.
So as
if you-
citizens in Ravenna that pay taxes, their water supply is priceless.
I
So
understand that.
that's our best interest right now, is looking what's best for our citizens. But again, we have to, I think, look at all options. And, this is you brought it to us before, and then that was brought to us. So we really, we had a lot of questions, and that part was brought up as well. So we need to clarify a lot of things.
I appreciate that. And I think if you do determine to keep it, I would just ask that you clean it up.
I
'cause
understand.
It's a life safety issue right now, where if somebody walks across that and they fall in, they're gonna die. So it's literally a life safety issue.
Mrs. Parsons, thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
And I do promise that the council will take this under consideration and give you an answer.
Is that a meeting that we should plan on attending next week?
Yeah, it's open to the public.
Okay.
We'll put planning up first,
Sounds good.
Chelsea. And so it'll be at 6 o'clock.
Okay. We'll be here. Thank
the
you.
13th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, have a good evening.
You too. Okay, next is Ms. Cynthia Miller.
My name is Cynthia Miller. I represent the commercial property at 309 East Main Street. The building at 309 East Main Street is a historic structure built in 1882. It's been part of Ravenna's city skyline for 142 years. Locust Lane, behind our property, has served 309 East Main Street as a dedicated Ravenna city street for more than 142 years, and is the only legal access from this property's parking lot to any other Ravenna city street. We have done our part to assume the costs associated with restoration, preservation, repair, and careful adaptations necessary to allow this property to survive for generations. We've owned the property for 45 years. Past 4 weeks of the library's parking lot renovation has been distressing, to say the least. The library has permanently rerouted all of the traffic utilizing their Main Street entrance and book drop to Locust Lane. This has caused confusion for library patrons and terror for pedestrians and vehicles on the portion of Locust Lane behind 309 East Main Street and the American Legions. Deliveries have become dangerous and unreasonably difficult for everyone. The closing of access north to Cedar from Locust Lane, as well as the closing access north to Cedar for the library's own Main Street patrons and book traffic, has created a dangerous and untenable situation. Locust Lane is inadequate and was never designed to handle all this extra traffic. It is a very narrow, very short, very old street, bordered on both sides by immovable public utilities. All of this added library traffic is in addition to the current traffic by staff, vehicles, deliveries, and patrons currently entering and exiting Locust Lane from the existing private parking lots. Soon, more additional cross traffic will travel in and out of the new library parking lot entrance under construction on the south end of Locust Lane. The library and the city of Ravenna have assumed great responsibility for this $1.3 million parking lot renovation. They have every right to be proud of their efforts. However, as with most construction projects, either drawn on a plan on paper or plan utilizing a CAD system, at some point these plans always meet real life, the way real people live and work. No project can operate in a vacuum. It will take great courage and great humility for the library board members and city officials involved to recognize the harm caused by the flaws in this project's design. The entire project does not need to be abandoned. I hope that it won't be. It's a nice project. But how this portion of this project has been allowed to proceed to this point is incomprehensible. The precedent for the city council changing and improving the library's past renovations for the health, safety, and welfare of Ravenna citizens. And as the city of Ravenna is the owner of all library property, buildings, parking lots, and all improvements, I believe it is this council's responsibility to effect the necessary changes to protect the city from liability and its citizens. We have tried for over a year to have our concerns addressed as we watch this project progress, first with interest, then with curiosity, and finally with alarm. It is my hope that the library board will work with you to address the very real and dangerous flaws in design. But in the end, if they choose not to work with you in a genial manner, you do have the authority to effect the necessary changes by ordinance. I've included in your packet today proof of the city's ownership of the library property, as well as proof of the precedent that allows city council to act in this manner. And I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller. Thank you. So we have the information that you've submitted tonight in our folders here. Council will consider what you've said and the information you've sent to us, and if needed, council will take it up and consider taking some action on it. We had a late addition to our delegations. I don't know if he's here yet. Is Nathaniel Adams here? Not here, okay. In that case, we're going to move on to reports from officials. In your packets, you should have had various reports. Does anybody have any questions or comments about the reports that were given to you? If not, could we get a motion to approve the reports?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Committee meetings will be on Monday, May 13th, starting at 6 o'clock. So we'll start with utilities. Mr. Moscom, do you have a report for us?
At this point, there will be nothing for next week.
Information systems, Ms. West?
We have one item on the agenda this evening and to be determined for next week.
For planning, we have 4 items on the agenda tonight. Will we have a meeting?
We will have a meeting next week.
Sorry about that. My timer just went off. The Committee of the Whole will be on Monday, May 20th at 6 p.m. Next committee is Public Health and Safety. Ms. Michael?
Yes, we have a couple items on tonight, and I can assume we will be having something next month. We usually do.
Streets and Sidewalk, Mr. Harper?
2 items on the agenda this evening, and we will be having a meeting next.
Personnel?
No committee meeting for us next week.
Community and Economic Development, Ms. Wood?
Yes, we have 2 items on this evening's agenda and at least 1 for committee.
I wanted to make sure everyone knew that with our additional council member, we've made some adjustments to the committees. Ms. West will now chair the Planning Committee since I'm no longer a member of council, and Mr. Maravich will chair the Information Services Committee. In addition, Mr. Maravich will serve on utilities and where else? Safety, I'm sorry. So he's replacing me in a couple of committees. And then Ms. West will be going off of utilities, but staying on personnel and planning and staying on information services. We'll send all this information out if we haven't already done so. Okay, any update from the cemetery? Mr. Harper or Mr. Moskin?
Mr. Harper will have the details for that.
Passing it off to Mr. Harper.
No, there's a reason for that, so I won't.
Well, I believe we finally agreed on a design for the bridge over the ponds. We're in the process of receiving prints for that design. Once we receive that, we'll ask Mr. Finney to help us solicit bids for materials, and then we'll commence to building.
All right.
So,
In the past, for that, just a question, in May, since we're in May now, the Memorial Day Parade, I know in the past, city workers have helped just to make sure things are up to par where they are. Are things okay with getting it ready for Memorial Day?
Yeah, well, Mayor Seaman usually has some of the street department go
Yeah,
out and
that's what I
help with
meant.
some of the weed eating. They've actually already been out and helped clean up some of the roads, put some patch in some of the holes that have developed over the winter. So some of those things are in progress, yes.
Okay.
I believe the American Legion is the one that organizes the
I thought someone else doing it.
parade. I think it's the American Legion, isn't it?
He was talking about the American Legion and the parade. Sorry about that. We were talking about the cemetery in Maple Grove and where we were with getting everything ready. Sorry about that.
Okay. Anything else from the cemetery?
That's
Okay, thank you. Parks and Recreation, Ms. West.
Oh, I have a lot of updates.
Okay,
Today.
well, let's hear 'em.
Chestnut Hills, painting's completed. They've installed all the new signs, the new slide chutes and the turf play mound were delivered, getting ready to be installed. Forever Lawn has started their work. So the playground project is on schedule and should be done mid-May, which is very exciting. GPT Group has been out to look at Osborne Park to get the design going for that. What else? They were awarded that $500 grant from Celebrate Portage. And then in the month of April, I didn't have the update, but we had a really crummy day for the Easter egg hunt. But our Parks Department was amazing with kind of shuffling things around and changing the event instead of canceling it. So they did a drive-through Easter egg thing, and they did some indoor games for kids, and we were able to make the day of 248 kids that participated. So it worked out really nice for that. They're also doing some partnering with Blue Tree Designs for a fundraiser. Our Shooting Stars has begun. They're doing some Cleveland Travel Soccer League, so there's a lot going on with Parks and Rec. Finally, they did meet to kind of discuss the update for the possibility of a new Parks and Rec building. They met with Ted Manfress, Bob, and Tim to talk about this. They provided a 1- and 2-story option. Neither will fit on the Main Street property. And they're meeting again tomorrow to discuss more of it, but the cost looks to be about $8 million if we're going to move forward with that. So that's the update I have.
All right. Next item on the agenda is first readings of ordinances. The first ordinance is ordinance 2024-61.
An ordinance accepting a donation to the Ravenna Fire Department in the sum of $1,000 in the memory of Errol Hartung, and appropriating the sum of $1,000 in the fire department and declaring an emergency.
Yes, that would be Public Health and Safety. This is a generous donation in memory of Mr. Hartung. It's accepting the donation. There is no match required, and we do want to thank you for that donation.
Questions from council? Does anyone want to give a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
The ordinance has an emergency clause. Would somebody like to move to waive that?
So moved.
Or to?
Second.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And to approve the ordinance.
So moved.
Second?
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Okay, that ordinance stands approved. The next ordinance is ordinance 2024-62. Oh, and clerk, I think you need to make an adjustment here.
There was a clerical error in the end of the ordinance stating that it was the fire department. It is the police department.
Okay, go ahead and read it.
An ordinance accepting a donation to the Ravenna Police Department in the sum of $1,000 in the memory of Earl Hartung, and appropriating the sum of $1,000 in the police department and declaring an emergency.
Okay, again, this is.
Yeah, again, this
safety.
goes along with the previous ordinance, except now the donation is for the police department. Again, we want to say thank you to the Ravenna United Fund for this donation in memory of Mr. Hartung. I know both our police and fire do appreciate that, so there is no match, it's just accepting the donation.
Questions? Do we have a motion to waive the 3 readings?
So moved.
Second?
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
The ordinance has an emergency clause. Does anybody want to approve that?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Do we have a motion to approve the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
That ordinance stands approved. The next ordinance is ordinance 2024-63.
An ordinance appropriating $23,000 from Fund 650 and authorizing the purchase of new street signage and declaring an emergency.
Sponsored by Streets and Sidewalks. Mr. Harper?
Yeah, this is various
Can I
different signs.
interject real quick?
I'm sorry?
This should be Fund 224, not 650.
Oh.
24. Can we have a motion?
We get a motion to amend the ordinance to change the fund from 650 to...
Can we get verification from Finance Director, please?
Get finance.
Yes, the account that's written in the body of this. Sorry.
Oh, it's another typo?
The account that's written in the body of the ordinance is correct, which is 224.
Oh, yeah,
It's
in
in
section 1.
Yeah, it should say 224 in the title as
Well,
well.
let's get a motion to amend the ordinance title from 650 to 224.
I'll make a motion to amend the title to reflect Fund 224.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. You can
now-
go ahead and continue, Mr. Harper, sorry about that.
These are various signs throughout the city that have deemed to be replaced for various reasons, and it's numerous signs, stop signs, turn signs, street signs, it's all kinds of different signs, so.
Questions, comments?
As I was thinking about this ordinance and the number of signs that were changing throughout the city, I was just curious as to whether part of this could include a review of the other signs that are on poles, posts, et cetera, that shouldn't be there. I think we have a number of signs that at one time were of some value, but they've either outlived them or they're no longer appropriate. I wonder if we could include a review and removal of those types of signs as we're going through and putting the new ones in. Okay.
Thank you. That's been a topic of discussion in the past, so thank you for bringing that forward again.
Other comments? We get a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So move.
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
The ordinance contains an emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And to approve the ordinance.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
That ordinance stands approved. The next ordinance is ordinance 2024-64.
An ordinance amending the codified ordinances of the City of Ravenna, Part 4, Traffic Code, Title II, Administration, Enforcement, and Penalties, Chapter 406, Traffic Control, Section 406.06, right turn on red prohibited by adding Scranton Street northbound at the intersection of Scranton Street and Main Street as a no turn on red intersection and declaring an emergency.
This is from Streets and Sidewalks, Mr. Harper?
Yeah, this has been brought to our attention in regard to some safety concerns. So at certain times of the day, normally in the morning and the afternoon when youth are trying to get to the middle school and home from middle school, it can be a little bit dangerous with individuals turning right off of Scranton on the main street because it's so close to the crosswalk. So we want to limit motorist availability to turn right on red during those times.
Okay, comments from council?
Is it only during those school crossing hours, or is it all day that it's going to be a no turn
It'll
on
be
red?
posted 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon. Those times will be determined as it gets a little bit closer to the start of the next school year based on their start time.
Other comments? We have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings.
So move.
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
The ordinance contains an emergency clause.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And to approve the ordinance.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
That ordinance stands approved. The next ordinance is 2024-65.
An ordinance appropriating the sum of $7,500 from Fund 650 to pay for the obligations of an existing contract with Portage Soil and Water Conservation District and declaring an emergency.
Okay, this is from the Utilities Committee, Mr. Moskin.
Yes, this is a contract with the Portage Soil and Water Conservation District. It's a, in here it shows it's for 5 years, and it is existing contract that we have with them.
So, so this is basically just to authorize a $7,500 payment, is that correct? Is there any reason it wasn't already appropriated to this fund?
We didn't know about this invoice at the time
Oh.
of budgeting.
Oh, okay, slipped through the cracks?
Yes.
Yeah, for,
Okay.
for some reason, they're invoicing us 5 years behind.
Oh,
It's been a
Okay.
schedule of theirs, there's been a various reason in the past, but.
yeah, it can make it a
Reason we
little,
wouldn't know about it. yeah.
little inconvenient when they surprise you with the bill.
Right, but we're going to build it into the budget
Okay.
point.
And when does this end?
I think it's been expired for,
Well, I think the contract's in
It
our,
ends in December, the end of December.
is it
oh, this week, this year?
This year.
Okay.
So we're almost on track.
All right, we'll get on track after for next year.
Yes.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So move.
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
The ordinance contains an emergency clause. Do we have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And a motion to approve the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Break. Okay, that ordinance stands approved. The next ordinance is ordinance number 2024. Okay. 66. Take your time.
You want me to read?
An ordinance on,
I can.
You want to volunteer to read it?
I'll volunteer to read it.
Dr.
Okay.
Calfee, go ahead.
Ordinance
take
number
your
2024-066, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Hemling Excavating LLC for the emergency repair of a water line and appropriating $10,000 from Fund 670 and declaring an emergency.
Okay. And this is also from Utilities Committee, Mr. Moskin?
Yes, this is the entire length of Avon Court. It's a short street, and the biggest reason the entirety is being replaced is because there have been numerous water breaks along that street, and it's hard to say how many clamps have been installed there over the years. It's not just the water pipe itself, it will be the hydrants, the valves in the individual properties will be replaced as well.
Any comments or questions about this ordinance? Do we have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So move.
Second.
Hold on a second.
Roll call.
Hold on, wait a second.
She's coming.
He's turning on his new hat, you know?
Okay, Dr. Calfee,
Yes.
Ms. West,
Yes.
Mr. Moskin,
Yes.
Ms. Wood,
Yes.
Mr. Maravich,
Yes.
Ms. Michael.
What ordinance are we on the same ordinance? Because I stepped out.
2024-66.
Okay, that is fine, yes.
And Mr. Harper.
Yes.
Go Chelsea.
Was this 60? Oh, yeah, that says 67 on your sheet. Did you get off by a number?
Yeah, I did.
I think I'm making Chelsea nervous tonight. You okay? I thought it'd be fun if we all took a turn reading the ordinances.
Keep us on our toes.
I'll tell you what, her job isn't easy. I got lost over there. Okay, that ordinance stands approved. The next ordinance is 2024-67.
Hold on, we-
Time out. What we did, we just did the
Oh,
first
we did,
of the
oh, I'm
3
sorry.
motions.
See,
Yeah.
I told you,
Yeah.
okay.
You're okay. It's all right.
Thank you for
Motion to
correcting me.
Waive the emergency clause.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Who was the
Emergency
first?
clause. Ms. West.
Sorry.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
The ordinance has an emergency clause. Do we have a motion to approve that? Or we just did that?
We just did that.
We did have.
We're down to approval. We're down to
My brain will
approval.
I'm kind of doing three things in my head at the same time. Do we have a motion to approve the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Sure.
Ms. Mr. Maravich?
Maravich, yeah, it's good, yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
That ordinance stands approved. The next ordinance is ordinance 2024-67.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Z-Tech Builders and Excavators Incorporated for the Foxwood Estates Sanitary Extension Project 2024-S and declaring an emergency.
This is from Utilities Committee, Mr. Moskin.
Yes. Foxwood Estates is just inside the township off of Bryn Mawr. And this is the sanitary extension. It will cost the taxpayers nothing at all in the least. This is involving with the EPA. Yes, I want to make sure and get that straight. So this project has been discussed for the past 2-3 years, and it's finally going to come to fruition.
I think it's even been longer than that, hasn't it?
Well, it seems, I wasn't exactly sure the time span.
Well, it kind of came and went. And we've had visitors here from that area asking us to help out, and we've just had difficulty isolating funds to pay for it. And I guess we got a grant through the county somehow to do this.
Yeah, so it worked out.
I'm glad to help out our neighbors. Any questions or comments? Okay, do we have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
The ordinance has an emergency clause. Do we have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And a motion to approve the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
That ordinance stands approved. The next ordinance is ordinance 2024-68.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a sponsor site agreement with Community Action Council to provide meals at the Parks and Recreation Summer Day Camp and declaring an emergency.
This is from the Planning Committee. And so this is a yearly event that I can't remember how long. It's longer than I've been on council.
Many years.
So the CAC is providing the funds, and it is administered through our summer day camp so that underprivileged children and some underprivileged adults can also get meals during camp.
It doesn't cost the city
Doesn't
anything.
cost us
No.
anything. Anybody have any comments or questions? Do we have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
There's an emergency clause attached to this ordinance. Do we have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And do we have a motion to approve the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
That ordinance stands, I'm sorry,
Yeah, no, you're good.
that ordinance stands approved. Next ordinance is 2024-69.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to apply for 2 $500 Celebrate Portage grants for the Parks and Recreation Summer Celebration and the City of Ravenna's 225th Anniversary Celebration, and to accept the grant if awarded and declaring an emergency.
Okay, so this is from the Planning Committee, and spoiler alert, we've already been given informal notification that both of these grants have been approved. They're 2 separate grants for $500. One of them is for the summer celebration, which is at the city park through Parks and Rec.
On
and
June
the-
7th. I missed that in my report. It's on June 7th.
June 7th. Okay, the day before the next event.
Yep.
But it's a partnership between Parks and Rec and the library. And then the second one is to help fund the 225th anniversary, which is on June 8th, at the same time as Art on Main. Any questions? Okay. Can we get a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So move.
Second?
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
There's an emergency clause. Does anyone want to?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
And a motion to approve the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
That ordinance stands approved. The next ordinance is 2024-70.
An ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as parts of the various component sections of the codified ordinances, providing for the adoption of new matter in the updated and revised codified ordinances, providing for the publication of such new matter, repealing ordinances and resolutions in conflict therewith, and declaring an emergency.
This is also sponsored by the Planning Committee. So those of you who still have the big binder, this is our yearly update. So are you interfiling them, or are you just giving the pages?
I filed.
Oh, how nice. So Chelsea will be interfiling into your binder. Does anybody have one of those?
Yes.
Oh, geez.
I'm on a wait list, so.
You want one?
Oh, there's one waiting for me.
There's one waiting for you? Okay. It's online, you know. Anyway, this is a yearly update. Every time we change our ordinances, that we have to update this thing, so we get the updates. So once, it's updated twice a year, but we get the paper once a year. Okay. Any questions? Do we have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
There's an emergency clause attached to this ordinance.
So moved. Second?
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And a motion to approve the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
That ordinance stands approved. The next ordinance is 2024-71.
An ordinance placing a temporary moratorium not to exceed 1 year on the issuance of new adult-use cannabis dispensaries, including existing medical marijuana dispensaries, and prohibiting all adult-use cannabis dispensaries, existing and new, from establishing in the city's central business district in the city of Ravenna, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
This is also from planning. So we've talked about how we're going to address the introduction of adult-use cannabis dispensaries in the city. And we've, with the help of the Planning Commission, who recommended that we put this moratorium in place, the idea is that except for the one medical marijuana dispensary, which is applying for a dual license, which will allow them to sell both medical marijuana and adult-use cannabis, no other dispensaries will be allowed to set up shop for a year within the city. And in addition to that, even, what's it called, Good? Super Good. Super Good, the existing medical marijuana dispensary will not be able to set up shop downtown in the central business district. Anybody have any questions? We've kind of talked this out quite a bit.
We did find out that there is in the process too, I wanted to make sure that people listening heard this too, that there may not be any money that is going to help the city out.
Well,
I mean,
It's not.
it's not
no,
definite yet.
there's a couple of bills. That bill actually was approved in December.
Right, but I
But
don't
it's
think
never
some of
been
the
signed
state-
by the governor, so, but that, yeah, that bill, I can't remember numbers, but that House bill did rearranged the way issue 2 distributed tax funding, and it left the municipalities out of the
communities
cold.
out.
But
Correct.
there's a newer bill that's been introduced that hasn't actually passed through out of the committee yet, which restores the municipalities, is it 10% of, or I forget, 36% of the 10% tax, something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy
So,
right now, but.
so we don't know. It'd be a shame if we.
So I think it's good we're being cautious right now.
Well, it sounds like it's all up in the air of
It is.
exactly which way it's going to go as the months go by.
Yeah.
Gives us time to plan.
True, but it does take the incentive for municipalities like ours to encourage them, and we don't get any money out of them.
Exactly.
Okay, but this moratorium would be for a year.
Question on this. You said that the medical use place, Supergood, is going to be able to automatically move into adult use. Automatically.
Is
At
it
what-
automatic, or do they have to apply?
They have to
Yeah, I
apply.
think, but they came to visit us.
Meaning upon application.
Yeah.
Is there a hold on them once they turn that application in? Is that going to apply to them?
The moratorium?
Yes.
No.
No.
The moratorium excludes them.
Okay.
But it does include them in not allowing them to move to the central business district, which they have no plans to do
Right,
anyway.
they have no desire.
So the pieces seem to fit together right now. Any other questions? Is there a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
The ordinance contains an emergency clause. Is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
No.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And to approve the ordinance.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
That ordinance stands approved in spite of the drama in voting.
I was just trying to consider and think whether it needed to be go into place
Right away.
immediately or 90 days. If we waited then 90 days, that would,
30 days. For the emergency clause?
oh, for the emergency,
30
that gives another 30 days of time. So that was my only thought on that.
See, you
It
should
was
have said
just
that before we voted.
Yeah,
Or you voted.
it is my fault. I'm sorry that I
That was
just sat there
very savvy.
mutely considering it.
Savvy
So,
approach to your
yeah.
voting tonight. Thank you, Dr. Calfee.
While we're on the subject, I do have a question about whether there is any anticipated work to be done on advertising of our marijuana, both medical and adult use, advertising signs. I was in Michigan this past weekend, and the area is covered with billboards, advertisements, signs for marijuana stores. It's a very interesting phenomenon to see all of that.
Is
So
that something we want to put on the planning committee agenda, to
we should think
discuss
about it during the moratorium. So,
moratorium on signs?
yeah, we should think about it.
Marijuana signs only.
Moratoriumed out. Okay, that ordinance stands approved. The next ordinance is 2024-72.
An ordinance allocating income tax proceeds from the Joint Economic Development District, JED, with Rootstown and into Fund 219 and declaring an emergency.
This is from Community and Economic Development. Ms. Wood?
Yes. This is the first deposit, and I believe now we've gotten a second one. The first one was 60.
I think we might be closing in on the third one.
I was going to say, we're a little bit behind.
Yeah.
But this was establishing the fund to deposit into an economic development fund to further future economic development.
So as we collect these funds, they will go into Fund 219, which is under the economic development part of our budget.
Correct.
Questions or comments? Do you have a motion to?
I'm sorry, do we have a projection on how much money that's going to be bringing in during the course of 1 year? If we have 3 payments in, we could possibly do an estimate of what it's going to look like for a year.
They're about
They do not have
$6,800 a month.
They do not have everybody into the group yet. That will continue to grow. At this point, we're looking at probably 80,000. What the original estimate would be 100,000. But there's much work left to be done there also.
Thank you.
Other comments? Do we have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings?
So move.
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
The ordinance contains an emergency clause. Do we have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And a motion to approve the ordinance.
So move.
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
That ordinance stands approved. The next ordinance is 2024-73.
An ordinance accepting a donation in the sum of $93,970.23 from the Community Improvement Corporation, CIC, and appropriating the sum of $93,970.23 and declaring an emergency.
The ordinance says it's sponsored by Public Health and Safety, but I believe this is community.
Yeah.
Yes, this is Community and Economic Development.
Yes, Ms.
And this is exactly what it says. It's a donation from the Community Investment Corporation in the amount of $93,970.23. And again, another amount that we would like to go to furthering of economic development.
Yeah, and as opposed to the previous item, this is a one-time
This is a one-time
fund.
donation.
Yeah, okay. Questions or comments? We have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings.
So move.
Second?
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
The ordinance contains an emergency clause. Do we have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Okay, that ordinance stands approved. The last ordinance, I believe, for the evening, oh, did I skip something?
Need approval.
I'm sorry, do we have a motion to approve the ordinance?
So moved.
So move. Second.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Calfee?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
That ordinance stands approved, thank you. Okay, now the last ordinance on first reading is ordinance 2024-74.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to renew a contract with Quality IP for information technology services and declaring an emergency.
From Information Systems Committee, Ms. West?
All right, so pretty much all of 2023, we talked about hiring an IT person to kind of help improve the city's technology, to be able to look at our services, to look at all of our contracts, to kind of tweak things throughout the city so we could get a better grasp on our technology and how we're using it. The city did interview and has chosen a candidate to hire. Unfortunately, he is currently employed by Quality IP, and they have a non-compete clause. So management communicated with Quality IP on this, and Quality IP is willing to let him work for the city and let him out of his contract with Quality IP in exchange for us keeping them on for 3 years. The contract is cut down. We're paying like 42% less. So it goes down to about $78,000 a year from $160-some thousand a year. We did meet, Rob and myself and management met and kind of went through the contract last Friday. Tuesday? Well, okay, last week. And kind of went through and was able to ask questions and kind of we asked for the, I asked for the first grade version of what this quality IP contract looks like, because information system stuff sometimes can be really confusing. He explained it really well, and we were able to kind of review some of the things that he even thought that he might be able to change for the city. So in front of us is that 3-year contract. We did also go back and forth a little bit with Quality IP, but they weren't willing to budge. They want to do the 3-year contract. When we spoke to the candidate that may be hired, he said that a 1-year contract just probably wouldn't be enough in order to look at everything and kind of revise and change, that a longer contract would be helpful so he could get to know the city's technology, how we use things, what we can and cannot get rid of, and then in the future help us to really, make a good informed choice when we go to bid for another possible IT company in the future. So, does anyone have any questions on that?
Yeah, since you said it's reduced by 42%, what would the rest of the duration be taken up by?
Well, the percentage that, the IT person that we're hiring will be taking on a lot of that role. So a lot of the in-person stuff that Quality IP was doing, they no longer will be doing that. We will have someone that works for the city on staff that's providing that service.
Okay, that's helpful.
So will Quality IP be a backup then too, when that person is on vacation or sick?
Correct.
We'll also then have Quality IP as a backup, which is definitely needed, I think.
They'll be available as a backup, but they'll also be available to do things that maybe the IT person's not able to do single-handedly. Some of the stuff is not equipped for one person to
No,
do.
not at all.
So all the tickets that come through, the IT director will look at those and he'll determine whether he handles those tickets or passes those off to Quality IP. But he did not feel that there was a large sum of man-hours that were going to be needed from Quality IP.
I think the critical difference is there won't be a Quality IP presence in terms of people. I think just about all their help will be remote. There might be times when they have to come on site to do some work. So I think that's the major change. The other thing is, I mean, the reason it's not a lesser amount, I would suggest, is that there are some pass-through costs for licensing and other servers and things that we would have to do anyway, even if we didn't have a company like Quality IP. So I think you all know my concern. There's always been, when hiring a consultant to do our IT work, since it's such a critical need, I mean, we just can't do without IT. I don't think any city, even smaller than ours, could. And it's always been a struggle to have one person do all that work. So the need is there, but my concern has always been the significance of the work and the cost of it suggested to me, and I've made these comments for many years, that we should have some competitive process. Now, whether it's legally required for us to bid is sort of an open question, although I think there may be some suggestion that it's not. It's a specialized professional service that doesn't require bidding. I just think it's always a good idea, just because we don't have to do something to do it because it's the right thing to do as stewards of the finances and the money that we have from the residents of the city of Ravenna. So it's a disappointment to me because we did sort of have an agreement for 2 years that was on the table, and we thought we had that accepted, which was sort of a compromise, because I would have preferred a single year. But they kind of stuck with the 3 years. And I'm not making any comments to suggest that Quality IP is not a good company or they're not doing good work. I just think it's an approach that the city should always consider when contracts like this are up, to see what else is out there. There are other companies that provide the same kind of work. It's not all that unique anymore. And I think it's our due diligence to see that we're getting the right services for the right price. The good news is, and it's very good news, that, and I don't know where we are with the hiring process, but the gentleman that we are proposing this job offer to is really a superstar, in my opinion. And one of the qualities, and I told him this personally when we met, is because it's hard for IT, and you'll appreciate that, because you're good at it too. A lot of IT people talk in ways that we can't really understand. They have a different way of speaking, and they talk in such details about services and equipment that we don't, and they use a lot of acronyms that we don't understand. True?
There's a lot of jargon.
Yeah, okay. That's the way to put it. And so, he explained things very well, and he really has a good way of communicating, so I appreciate that. Anyway, I don't have an opinion one way or another on this specific contract. My only concern is 3 years from now, I hope we do a more thorough vetting of services or companies out there so we can get a more competitive process.
I think having a full-time position is going to help that along.
Right.
Right now, we would be trying to bid out something completely blindly. I think this is the safest and best bet, and I make a motion to waive the,
I think there's still discussion going on.
Well, yeah.
There's still discussion going on. I think one of the complications of the contract is that the whole non-compete section of it. We would have been in a better negotiating position, I think, if there wasn't that complication. So,
Yeah, I don't know.
so I'm not surprised that they held for 3 years for the length of the contract.
You all know, I mean, the FTC did outlaw non-compete
For like
agreements.
managerial roles.
Yeah, and this would have been that kind of role. So that's a debatable thing, but I think the newness of that makes it hard for, we're talking about somebody who putting his job.
My other question is, there was some discussion about the municipal discount that we had been offered on the previous contract of $100,000 on the 3-year contract.
It was more, it was $10,000 a month.
$10,000 a month, and the new contract doesn't contain that at all. There was some discussion back and forth. Do we think we've adequately resolved that that's fair, what has been done with that?
Oh, yeah, we had conversation about it, and no one shared any concern with it not being on there. I think this, Ron did, yeah, at least from management, we are really cutting a lot of things out, and they are providing such a minimal service now than they were before.
Let me just say this, Dr. Kelfi, because it is an interesting part of the differences between the two contracts. Our contract that we are ending would have been for $250,000 a year without the municipal discount. So they pretty much cut their services, the cost of their services in half, which is kind of interesting. That's all I'll say, though.
And I think we're in a situation right now that we can't, there's not a whole lot we can do at this point. If we want to move forward and we want to have our own person, to change would be detrimental. To try to bring another IP or quality, someone different in the quality, would be a nightmare. And we have spent so much money getting our system up to where it is.
and I think we're behind the clock on that as well. We don't have time to even
No.
bid appropriately
So-
and vet any other companies. I think that what we're getting is
we know what
a
we're
great
getting. Right.
opportunity, and I'm all for just moving forward with
too.
it.
Yeah.
Is there any more discussion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it would have been nicer to have a 2-year contract. I've experienced very fast product migrations from my work, and I can't say that those are the favorite parts of my job. But I think what this contract does afford us is the opportunity to do some more of that planning. Like one of the things I was curious was if the cost for additional service hours, it says we're allocate like 10 hours of help desk a month for that kind of thing, and then there's I believe it's $150 an hour after that. I'm kind of wondering, is that like the old singular rollover kind of plan for how that's being done for
It
if we
is.
don't use those? Okay.
It is, it rolls over. So what it is it's authorized for a year, and then, but you can use it whenever, yeah.
Okay.
You can dive into the new contract and look at it.
Oh, don't worry, Tyler already did.
I think with Tyler on now, that I think we're going to have some light with
Absolutely.
IT right now. So I'm looking forward to that. So,
Oh, happy to translating it into English.
yeah, absolutely.
So other than the term being shorter would be more preferential, some things I feel could be a little bit cheaper for things, and we could explore the idea of going in-house for some things. So I think that there's a good opportunity to plan ahead for this, but I think we can work with what we have here.
Great. Thank you for your input. Any other comment? Do we have a motion to waive the 3 separate readings now?
So move.
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Kelfi?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes?
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
The ordinance contains an emergency clause. Do we have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
And do we have a motion to approve the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Wood?
Yes.
Ms. Michael?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. West?
Yes.
Mr. Moskin?
Yes.
Mr. Maravich?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
That ordinance stands approved. We have no ordinances on second reading and no ordinances on third reading.
We do have the gentleman that was supposed to come in and talk that hadn't got here yet. I just wanted to point him out. I did see him walk in, so
Oh.
whenever.
I will give him some time during my comments.
Yeah.
Do we have any old business?
No.
Any-
Excuse me. There was something I wanted to say now. Oh, yes, I do have some old business. Question to Mr. Content and Chelsea. We had talked a while back about some of the money that we had left over that we were going to budget, that we put into the city for like the ARPA money, I think, was it?
Yes, you're.
There's no money left
Yeah.
over.
What?
There's no money left over.
None?
No, we allocated it all.
The beautification money.
It's all gone, really?
Well, I don't know, it hasn't all been spent yet, but it's all been allocated.
Yeah, but we had some money that was going to be left over, or did, when the police came in, that took the last of it?
No, we had a bucket, we kind of, where everyone, when all
Right,
the
I
departments
remember- I know,
submitted.
I understand
But the
that,
bucket
but-
was for the beautification program, and that was actually allocated and I believe spent, wasn't it?
50,000.
Yeah,
How much?
50,000, I don't remember the exact figure was
And that
left.
was what, for the,
What was it for? I mean,
The trash cans?
yeah, that's what I was asking,
Yeah.
if the trash cans and the flower bag,
Yeah.
so all of that was going to be for that?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh.
I didn't know if the trash cans ever, I never heard anything. I knew you guys were doing the flower beds, but I never heard anything
They're-
more.
they're Around here, they're done. Go look at them.
Yeah, it's a, yeah.
Are
Like
we
I said,
paying
I
them
hadn't
or
really
something?
paid
Was there-
attention on some of them, but again, I noticed there were some missing, so
Yeah.
it made me think that they were being painted,
Yeah, they're taking 10
possibly.
at a
So I
time.
wanted to ask.
Yep.
So
Yep.
nothing was ever like brought to us that I had
well,
remembered.
remember, we did pass an ordinance allowing the individual up to, what was it, 20, 25,000, I forget the number now.
I had vaguely.
And all those costs were less than that threshold. That's why they didn't come before council.
Okay. Yeah.
The
I
ones that
just
are
thought,
above
though-
it still have to come back.
Exactly. I mean, I understand, but I never heard anything about it, I guess. And, we had talked about it, and then it was, I just wanted to make sure that
Sure.
was done.
Yeah, the trash cans are almost done. They still got a couple more groups to go. They're taking 10 at a time and then replacing them with the
Okay.
ones that they come back with.
Okay.
The landscaping islands they're not completed yet because they're supposed to have flowers planted in them. We're waiting a little bit to make sure there's not a frost.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, they're going to look good and, yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
it's going to look good. And we got banners ordered for our flag, for our light poles again for our 225th anniversary banners. To go up with our veterans banners. So it's going to look good. Every light pole's going to have an American flag too this year, so it's going to look good.
Good. Thank you both for doing that. I just, like I said, I just wanted to know exactly what was going on.
Any other old business? Any new business? Okay, next item is remarks from the council president. I'll keep it brief, but I just want to, I'm thankful that I survived the first night as president in spite of some interesting, I sent the clerk running, did other things. Anyway, so I'm very thankful that, it's not easy, you're trying to think ahead and you get lost, so I can certainly appreciate Mr. Kluge's abilities to do this, and I guess it's just going to take me a little more practice. I'm also very thankful and grateful we have a new council member. Mr. Maravich is a great pick. We're very excited to have him here with us tonight. He's already shown that he's got some expertise we're definitely in need of. So thank you for joining us on council. I'm thankful for the council at large, too, and Dr. Calfee for leading the process of picking our replacement for Ward 2.
Bless you.
It was tough. We had really good candidates, and there was a lot of good questioning, a lot of good discussion. And it's not always an easy process when you have so many good candidates to pick the one that you want to serve. Bless you. So I'm thankful for council for doing such a fine job in picking Mr. Maravich. And lastly, I do want to mention for those who didn't make it, and of course that's what happens in a situation like that, we had some really good candidates. And I want to tell them, I don't think any of them are, well, one of them is here tonight, but I just want to tell them, don't give up because you didn't get it this time. And continue your service to the city because you have a lot to offer, and we're greatly in need of your expertise and your service. And consider this, and I hope I'm not speaking out of school, but Mr. Maravich applied the last time we had an opening. Unfortunately, he didn't get it, but, he came back for another shot at it. And so those other candidates out there who didn't make it this time, you may be next. So consider that. Anyway, I want to reserve the last few minutes in case our delegate who wasn't here when we had our delegations, Nathaniel Adams, if would you like to present something to City Council?
Hey, Rob, one thing I think we forgot to mention is the JoJo Festival. For those who did not attend, thank you for a great time.
It was amazing.
Main Street and Ravenna High School kids, I thought maybe someone would have brought that up, but.
We haven't gone through the.
I didn't know, but I wanted to make sure that got brought up.
We still have our remarks.
Okay.
You'll have plenty of time to talk about it. I'm sorry, Mr. Adams. And you are the representative for which, or your candidate for which
Candidate
seat?
for the 72nd District. Mayor, Council, thank you for allowing me to speak to you tonight. I want to thank you for this opportunity. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Nathaniel Adams, and I'm running to become the state representative for the 72nd State House District. That is the majority of Portage County, and it does include the city of Ravenna. So my hope is throughout this campaign, and hopefully in the future, I'll be able to work with all of you on many of the issues that are important to the city of Ravenna and to those of Portage County. So if you have any questions, by all means, my email and contact information are open to you, and I will be passing that on to you when I get the chance. And to the council members, I know you all do a lot of work for the city of Ravenna. Congratulations to you, Mr. Maravich, on being the new council member. I wish you best of luck.
Thank you.
And to all of you, I know that through all your hard work and the amount of care you have for this city and its people, I hope to be able to match that as state representative for the 72nd District. And to the people here tonight, thank you for coming, and I hope to be able to speak with many of you on the issues in the coming weeks and months. And hopefully I will be your state representative for come January 2025. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Good luck as well.
Okay, next item on the agenda is council members' remarks. I'm going to start here with Mr. Moscom and go around this way.
Yes, I have a couple things. I believe one thing is crucial, and that's that street parking that was brought up. I'll just bring that to a point because when a street's completely blocked, there's no access to get through in the least. So I believe that's crucial and needs more discussion. If it wasn't crucial, it's different when everyone's parked on one side, but when the whole street's blocked. So that needs to go farther. The other thing is I had planned on speaking about this before, what Mrs. Michael mentioned about the JoJo Festival. One thing that I was extremely pleased with, the amount of people that were there. And I heard one comment that I laughed, I didn't laugh at the person, I laughed later. The one person said, well, I started to show up, but I didn't because there were so many people. And the lines were too long to get food. I thought, well, that's a great asset. So I thought to myself, I really believe since this was the first year this was done, that it was a very good turnout. Best way to say that. And then I'm just being very optimistic that that will continue to grow as the years go on. That's my comment.
Thank you. Dr. Calfee?
No additional comments, thank you.
Ms. West?
Just to add to what Mr. Moskin said, just a shout out to Mr. Wonderly's civics class. It's a great group of young adults. I think the best thing for me was when I was driving to it, watching people walk downtown. It was, you know, that's not something that we're used to all the time. So it was really refreshing that something that was so simple was made to be something so successful for the city of Ravenna. So it was great to be able to participate in that. Sorry, Amy, I took your thunder on that. Yeah.
I was, you know what, I was thinking we were done, like maybe he stopped and I thought, wait a minute, nobody brought this up.
No, it was great.
Ms. Wood?
I'm going to second all of those thoughts on the JoJo Festival. It was very entertaining. It was a great turnout, great weather, beautiful, and I can't wait until next year. Hopefully they do it again. Kind of going off of that, and Mr. Wonderly being a wonderful teacher, this is Teacher Appreciation Week. So a shout out to our Ravenna teachers who dedicate so much time and energy to our children. And I say our children because they're all ours. And with that, I also want to highlight a couple of things that I know personally that some of our teachers do for our students that maybe our community doesn't realize how much they support them. Next Saturday is the senior trip to Cedar Point. And with that trip to Cedar Point, the teachers themselves personally took up donations to purchase tickets for the students who wouldn't be able to do so for themselves, and to also pay for the food at Cedar Point for those students who couldn't do so themselves, so that every senior that wanted the opportunity to participate could have that option. These same teachers also spend their own money and time doing food in their classrooms for the students, or, you know, helping to get donations for prom clothes and different things for the needs of the students. So shout out to Ravenna and all of our wonderful teachers, and thank you for making our community that much better.
Mr. Harper?
I just wanted to congratulate the citizens that received awards again. I believe they all left, but it's quite an honor, and wanted to thank them for doing what they do for our community. Also wanted to welcome Tyler again for the second time. Look forward to working with you. So that's all. Thank you.
I think I've spoke a lot tonight already. So I again, everything that they said, I think we had a great turnout. I'm looking forward to, for those of you who didn't see that Main Street redid their cleanup date. Is that for this week, Chelsea, now? The 18th, okay. They had to cancel that, so it was a reschedule because of the rain date. So it's the 18th. Anybody available to come up and help clean our downtown up, please come up. I miss back in the day when the Lions Club used to host a community cleanup. And it was by council wards, and each council person would lead that ward. And you would do the whole city. And I really would like to see something like that get back again. We would have a pancake breakfast that the Lions Club would organize, and everybody that wanted to help in the community would come have a pancake breakfast. Each councilman would show up. You'd have a map of your ward, and the street department would work along with Parks and Rec, pick up bags, and we would clean the whole city. It's kind of neat because, you know, I was looking back when my boys were young, and they were out there doing that, working, and, you know, seeing those memories, and it just kind of stopped when people had passed away that were active at the time in the Lions Club. Those things have just kind of went away, and I think it's important to try to get something like that back. I commend Main Street for doing it in our downtown, but I think we need to do something more. There's so much trash out there. I know when the police did it the one year, just in that one area, when we did the end of town by Diamond Street, Italian American Club in that area, I could not believe the amount of trash we picked up. So I just think we need to do more to keep our community clean. And if we need to be leaders and, you know, go out there and encourage people to pick up trash. We had a young man who was, you know, we recognized tonight that did it on his own. So I'd like to see more of that. So that's I'll leave it off with that.
Thank you. Mr. Maravich?
One, thank you for such a warm welcome and allowing me to be part of the magic here. I'm looking forward to keeping that going. Wore short sleeves today, so I don't have to roll them up to get started. So looking forward to that part. I have a lot of learning to do. I'm planning on visiting a lot of the departments within the city as well, get brushed up on that, make sure we're addressing our IT needs effectively since I'll be leading that committee. And, but I do want to thank the folks that showed up here today, because I've sat many a time in that chair, and it's nice to see when people are engaged in civics, whether you're looking to resolve an issue that'll help make your town safer and better, or if you're just trying to get involved. I mean, wasn't it Woody Allen said the best, like the easiest part of success was 80% or something for showing up?
70% is showing up.
Alrighty, well, congratulations, everybody here passes, so thanks for showing up.
Thank you. Mayor Seaman, your remarks for tonight.
Well, there's a lot of things going on. You've mentioned many of them here and still haven't covered all of them. We're going to have a very active and busy summer, and the months are flying by with this. I'm going to have to ask for a little bit of leeway. Folks are getting excited. We're finally getting Main Street paved, but there was work that has to be done before they put the final paving down. Some people think that the paving out on the east end of town, that was the final thing, and it bumps like mad when you go through there. It's not. The final cover goes on when all the other stuff is accounted for, and then they put the final thing on. And I've had more than one call, and some of them are not without merit in terms of some of the other roads that we had. Meridian Street, we ran a new water line there, and of course they had to dig up every so far and press the water lines through. Well, Meridian was not one of our worst streets, but now it is bumpy when we go through. But I think it's been the practice that after we run a water line, we try and the following year to pave those streets. And we're trying to run one water line every year is what we've been working on. So these things will all be taken care of, but they don't happen instantaneously. You should also be aware that keep in mind that this is a state project, and we paid our share that we had to pay with that. They have contacted us and asked if it would be all right if they chipped the downtown area at night. And talking with Tim and myself, we decided that's probably a good idea because of all the traffic that there is downtown. I think that'll go much better in the evening when they're not competing with other things. So we have approved that to go ahead. You're talking about donations. I got one today from the cheerleading squad, and they're trying to take their kids to a higher level with this, and they want to take them to a workshop. And the cost is around $445 a kid. So they're looking for donations because a lot of our kids can't afford that. Their parents don't have that. I'm just putting this out for you to know about, and if you know people that can donate, it would be nice to do that. I want to remind you on Memorial Day that particular parade is non-political. They do not want political signs, and they do not want clowns and those sorts of things. They want to keep the Memorial Day to their minds on the veterans that have paid with their lives frequently. And it's a solemn day for us, yet a good day. I walked around the JoJo event, and I think our courthouse, and it's getting, when it's in full bloom, it's a very wonderful place to stand and watch what's going on. And the people came and had a good time with that. I don't know what their teacher told them to do, but I had a number of them made sure they got a hold of me and talked to me with that. But we're going to be doing more work with Mr. Wonderly's classes and into the next year, and he's got that celebration for the Constitution that we said we would help with. So there's a lot happening. There's some folks that if they have concerns, we're going to try and address it. We can't always make it exactly what they want with that. When money's allocated and it's not there, we don't shift it. Very seldom do we shift it from one to another. I will stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I guess that does it for tonight. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Hey, Tim, don't
Good
go
night,
anywhere.
everyone.
Got something.